So, Tilly, what have you decided to do post-graduation?
So, I have just finished my undergraduate degree last Friday, and I'm currently in a few months between, and I am applying for a postgraduate master's. It's a master's by research at York St John. So, in these next couple of months, I'm putting through my application. I'm working on a paper for conference. I'm presenting at LIA 4 in Manchester in July. And then from then, I'm hoping to do a master's by research.
Okay. And what factors were involved in making that decision to go on to do postgraduate study rather than getting a job, say?
Well, from starting university, I realised that I really enjoyed academia, that I wanted to carry on in this. I did a work placement in my second year, working in the linguistics department at York St John, and I realised that academia was something that I was still interested in. It was something that I still wanted to do, and it inspired me more to go on and do postgrad. I got involved with more things as I went through uni and realised that academia is kind of what I want to do.
Okay.
Is that enough for that one?
Why did you choose a master's by research rather than taught masters?
Well, initially I chose a taught masters. So at the beginning of my third year I thought, I want to do a taught masters. Doing research is way too scary. I cannot just be left to my own devices. Like, something bad will happen there. So I thought I wanted to do taught, so I looked through a load of taught degrees. I found ones that seemed the most interesting to me. So I applied for one at the University of Huddersfield, doing lots of stylistics, a bit of conversation analysis, a little bit of pragmatics. So I applied for that, was really, really interested in it all. And then I began my final semester of my undergraduate degree, and was left to my own devices and thought, actually, I can deal with this and I really enjoy it, and I don't want to go back to taught modules. I want to have this independence. So I realised that actually I did enjoy that, and that perhaps was the right thing for me. So then I had to reevaluate my decision, and I chose that doing a master's by research would be the best bet for me, and that staying at York St John was also the best thing for me to do at this point.
And why do you think that staying at York St John is the best rather than moving away somewhere?
Well, after looking everywhere else, I found that nowhere did the type of linguistics that I really wanted to do. Nobody else would have offered what I already have here. So moving away would have been for the sake of trying something new. It would have been moving away for the sake of moving away. Whereas staying is staying because I know it's right. I like what I'm already doing. I like everything as it is. What's the point in moving away for the sake of something new when everything I've got here is exactly what I need? There's nothing I would change about my last 3 years. So why bother trying to change a potential fourth year? The other reason why I chose to stay at York St John was in the April of my final year, I went to ULab in Aberdeen, and that allowed me the chance to talk to other students from other universities, see other types of linguistics that we weren't doing at York St John, just to kind of get an idea of what other people do, what other people study, and I just realised that none of that was for me, that I was perfectly happy exactly where I was. And also the support that I get at York St John, nowhere else seemed to have that. So York St John was by far the biggest group there. There were a couple of others, even from the host institution there were only a couple of presenters. So the support that we get here is absolutely amazing. So I didn't want to give that up for the sake of trying something new.
And you mentioned about York St John having the right type of linguistics for you. So what are those types? What are your areas of interest?
So I'm particularly interested in conversation analysis, sociolinguistics. I've really enjoyed those kinds of modules. I've also really liked pragmatics. And And I'm really interested in interaction and conversational data. So I noticed that at a lot of universities they tend to focus on other kinds of discourse, so media texts or narratives, or focus on grammatical structuring, and that's just not for me. I'm interested in conversation, interaction, all those kinds of things. And the thing that York St John has that's particularly great for that is Lydia, which is the Language and Identities in Interaction research group. So it seems like the perfect place for me, given my research interests.
Could you tell me a little bit about putting together a research proposal?
So that's the process I'm going through at the moment, having just finished my undergrad. So I'm getting started on that now. So basically I'm putting together a bit of a literature review, giving an overview of the methodology that I'm planning on using, an idea of the data that I'm hoping to collect. For me, I'm using some of the data that I collected for my undergraduate dissertation, so it's made slightly easier for me in that I've already done some of the work. So I'm discussing all those kinds of ideas. So I'm getting a decent head start on the reading. That is the advice I'd give to anyone going into this. Get an idea of the literature that already exists. Really get to know your stuff, and then that makes that job a whole lot easier when you get to it. So I have to write a 2,000 to 3,000 word project proposal, and having known my literature and doing a similar kind of thing for my undergraduate dissertation has really, really helped in getting started on that process.
And what about funding a postgraduate degree?
Funding is a funny area at the moment. No one's quite sure exactly what's happening, but there is now obviously government funding. So I'm still yet to find out exactly what I'm going to get. So knowing that that is a thing, I do rely on that a little bit. But equally, I'm trying to think of ways, in case I don't get everything funded, in case I need to get the extra money, how I'm doing this. I'm all the way through my university life, I have been working full-time during the summers. So from June to September, I've been working full-time and saving up. I've also had a couple of jobs while I've been at uni. I've tried to keep them all kind of academically focused. I don't really, all the time at university, I didn't really want a Saturday job working in a shop or a bar. So I did some students as researchers posts, I've done internships. I worked as a student ambassador for the university, so I've been doing things like that, and I'm hoping that maybe I can carry some of that stuff on. I'm definitely hoping to continue being a student ambassador. So part-time work, but equally you can't dedicate too many hours to part-time work when you're doing a master's by research in 1 year, because effectively that's 8 to 10 months to write 30,000 words. So you have to prioritise that over having a job and getting the money to be able to do it. So for a lot of people, doing a master's part-time is a more viable option in regards to funding. So you're able to work during the week and focus on your studies, either evenings, weekends, or if you're working just a couple of days a week, then that works. But I'm hoping to avoid doing that to try and get it done in a year.
And have you thought about, after a postgrad degree, are you planning an academic career? Or?
I am. After postgrad, I hope to do more postgrad. So after I finish my masters, I'd like to move on to a PhD. Whether I do that straight away or whether I work for a little while in between, partially depending on funding, if I can get funding I need at the time, because funding is a massive thing when it comes to looking at PhDs. You can't just decide that that's the place you want to go to. You have to get the funding. So part of it will depend on funding, but yes, PhD, then hopefully going on to lecture and to do more research.
So what skills do you think you have developed during your undergraduate degree which are then going to be useful for a postgrad, and are there any particular skills that you hope to gain or to hone in your postgraduate study?
So the thing for me has really been this final semester. I've been working independently on my undergraduate dissertation and another independent research module. So with those two modules in my last semester, having this time to work independently made me realise that actually I might be able to go on to do a Masters by Research and further postgrad. So I'd say knowing that I can work independently, but equally knowing that I have support around me to go to, that I'm not totally alone. So yeah, working independently, but also problem solving and knowing when to go to other people when I can't solve those problems by myself. With that comes so much other stuff. So organising your own timetables. So I have had no timetable for the past semester. So if I choose to stay in bed all day on a Monday, then that's for me to deal with later on when I've got too much work to do on the Friday. So organisation, making yourself get up and go into uni, I found very easy because I enjoy what I'm doing. So because I'm motivated to go on and do more of that, then it makes that task a lot easier. As for skills I'm wanting to develop, I'm wanting to become a better academic is the best answer I can give for that. So improving my writing, really improving my presentation skills, because that's something that still makes me very nervous. And it's something that I'm hoping that I'm going to need to do a lot more. So that's something that I would really like to improve. But yeah, just getting to grips with what it is to be an academic and improving in those areas.
So is there anything else you would like to add about life as an academic? Anything you're particularly looking forward to, or any advice that you would give to somebody who is thinking about following down that path?
I don't feel I can really give an answer as life as an academic, seeing so I've literally just finished my undergraduate degree. So I don't feel like I can answer that. But advice for going on to do postgrad would really just be get involved. If there's things going on like data sessions or reading groups or anything like that, get involved in them. Talk to academics. They're not scary people. They are real people. You can just grab them, have a chat, and if you're interested in the same kind of areas of research, then you're probably going to have a lot to talk about and they'll be very happy to talk to you. So talking to people is such a big deal, and people seem very scared to do it. So that is one thing I'd say. Talk to people, go to things, get involved. A lot of getting into academia for me has been about knowing the right people, as much as doing reading and sitting in the library. It's been getting involved, talking to people, making contacts, going to conferences, going to data sessions and reading groups and things like that. So get involved and talk to people would be the best advice I could give as a graduating undergrad.
I think that's all my questions. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.